Hey folks, Kevin and Thea here.
Hi guys, good to see you.
So it's June 28th, 2024, and we're going to do a project, or Thea's going to do a project today. She's going to be de-hulling or threshing beans. And I usually do this, but Thea's going to do it this time. But I thought I'd go over an explanation to start out with the tools we use and and how it's actually done as far as our beans go.
And a good refresher to me. I did
That's
watch
right.
your video you made in 2022, but
Yeah.
hands-on is good.
Okay, so I'm going to hand the camera to Thea and we'll just see what we can do here. So we have two different types of beans here. One are kidney beans. So can you see that in the camera?
Come
Okay.
Yep.
So the kidney beans are a pretty small bean, just a typical size that you'd find at the grocery store. So it has a pod or a hull that you can touch it if you want. And they're pretty easy to open, and if you do this by hand, it can take quite some time, and you can see the beans in there. So those are our kidney beans. Then these are our Scarlet red runner bean pods here. So they're much firmer, more fibrous, and they're bigger beans. And to do this by hand can really take some time. You can see the size of the beans here. Let me just put a couple on my hand. And this is one of the reasons why I like them so much, is the beans are so big and all. So they're dried on hardware cloth racks, which we've shown in other videos. But what we do after they've been completely dried, then you can put them into garbage cans and just keep them from getting moist. So these were just stored in our sugar shack. Now, do you care if the kidneys are mixed in with
Fine, mix them.
So what we're going to do is add some bean pods over here. Because the two tools we're going to be using, where the one tool is a paddle that's used for mixing mortar or for mixing 5-gallon buckets of paint that you can pick up at Home Depot or Lowe's or box stores, and all, probably Kmart too, I don't know. And this is probably about 2 feet long, and these are about 4 or 5 inches in diameter here. And it's just 4 simple welded bars to go together, and to spin it at a high enough speed where you're just using a cordless drill to do this. And so those are the couple of tools that we're going to use. And I'm going to add more beans to this because this paddle is only so long. So we're going to add more beans to this one. So you want to do this when there's no rain going on, no dew on the grass and all. Last night it was down to 46, was it? Yeah. So I'll do it over here on the gravel part. So we have another garbage can that is a plastic one that I drilled like an inch hole in the surface of it. So I just take the paddle from the underside, reach it through, and hook it onto the drill, snug it up. So now, by putting the top on here, now this will kick up a lot of dust during the process. And so what we do is beat the heck out of the bean pods, which starts to crack them open, just like if you were to squish them with your hands. It takes a while. Some of them will get wound. Yep, that's okay, hon.
It's alive.
Yes, it's alive. It decides what it wants to do. So this thumb thing here?
Yeah.
This, see how that works?
Okay, got it.
Try not to press the other buttons there.
That would be off.
Okay, so...
Okay, you're on now.
And girl. So we've got it about half full. Both of these buckets are about half full. So I'll just put the lid on it. This helps to keep this stuff down. Thea's going to wear a mask when she's doing this and all. There isn't going to be much kicked up yet since we got it covered. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it on 2, the higher speed. And I didn't snug this up on there tight enough. Now it's tight. So if you look down in here right now, you come right over here, John. No,
Yeah,
you just, remember you just do this with your thumb.
Oh,
So you look down here right now, some of them have split open, but some haven't yet. So it really takes quite a bit of time to do this. So I'm gonna, but you see the pile is a little bit lower now. So what I'm gonna do, set this down, make sure it doesn't get wet, add some more beans to it. As the bean hulls are split open, the beans being heavy will fall down to the ground and go to the base, go to the base of the bucket. The lighter hulls will use a leaf blower, electric leaf blower, to blow those out in just a minute. So I'm whipping it right around, getting it right up against the side of the garbage can. So you see a lot of the pods will stick right to the beater bar. Just don't press the button when you're doing this. There's still a few beans in there. So you will lose some beans doing this, but if you look down in there now, can you see inside of there okay?
Yeah.
You don't turn the thing on, you just use this button here.
yeah. I'm just getting closer to it.
Okay. So you can see many more of them are open now. There'll probably be 1 bean or 2 beans in some of the ones, but the next thing we're going to do is use the leaf blower. You want to put your mask
Yeah,
on now?
I got it.
So this is the messy part. Let's use the other one.
The other one's a heavy duty one.
It's the other one. So let me just press the button so that I point it at the right spot here.
Yep.
Cover this up so don't put more into there.
That one works much better.
Yes. So you can actually just show some of the hulls all the way around in there. But you can also see some of the beans. There's beans all around in the floor in here because if you go too high a pressure, they'll blow all over the place. But you can see the hulls around in here. Okay. I'll go back over here and do this again. I've taken the wand off of the unit, so this is the Ego leaf blower here, and I'm just using the lower pressure. I'm not using high pressure. So someplace in here, yeah, see those, are there beans in this one? No, they actually came out. But we will miss some beans. So
Afterwards, we'll check the ground.
yeah, well, there's not much. I'd say wouldn't worry about it. So now, since this is lower, but if we look down in here, there's lots of beans at the bottom. And when I'm stirring this up, it turns over the pile some so that you can get some more of these hulls out. Okay, so we're making progress. You put it over in the concrete?
Yeah.
And so we've beaten the hulls and then threshed it using the air flow from the Ego leaf blower. I took the nozzle off the front of it, and you could use any electric leaf blower. I prefer that over a gasoline powered one. But we got those 2.5 garbage cans full of beans with the hull all in here. And it's down to this point right here. One of the things I do is I take the garbage can lid that has a hole in it, take the paddle out of the garbage can lid that has a hole in it, and I use this when I get down to the bottom. I use the paddle and I work my way all the way around the perimeter, trying to break up the remaining hulls, the bean pods themselves. And then I use the leaf blower again. But when we get down to here where it's almost all beans, then we're going to switch to a 5-gallon bucket. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to hold this and you can film what we're doing here.
Yes.
I put it on some concrete or do it on a tarp or something because you will lose some. We'll blow this one more time, so you're shooting across there instead of the camera going down.
All right.
Got to use a lot less force with the leaf blower now. Going to do the same thing with a 5-gallon bucket lid. slower speed. This is a screw-on lid. Because of the narrower circumference, the narrower diameter of this, the paddle is wider relative to the size of this big garbage can. Therefore, I get more surface contact and it breaks up more of these pods more easily. Again, use much less force when I'm doing this.
That looks good.
So there's just a few bean pods that have to be split open now. That's pretty good. I'm just going to do this over here. I'm going to do it on the angle. So there's lots of fine particles in there. By rolling it some, I can get rid of a lot of the fine particles. I'm not doing high pressure because I can blow the beans right out of it. So, there we go. I think it's set.
Okay.
All right, turn around, you can face this way and we'll see if we're both in the camera screen. Okay, so that's the technique that we use to get the beans to that point where they're almost all beans, very few pods. The rest of it can be basically done by hand. The part at the end where you have low pressure of the leaf blower into the bucket on its side, you have to make sure it's really low pressure. That does a good job of removing the small particles from the hulls that broke up during the process. Remember, they're all desiccated, they're dried out, so they're fracturing. There's little dust particles. That helps to blow those out of the unit. We keep it straight up and down vertical when we're blowing the main pods out of there, but we can do it on a little bit of an angle but low pressure to get the small amounts out. And then you can put these over a screen as long as the screen holes are smaller than the sides of the beans to do it as well, or you can just separate them, put them into quart jars.
I'm gonna separate them, put them into quart jars, and then before we make our refried beans, I go ahead and I rinse them all out. If there's any, chafe or anything, I just pick it out at that time.
Sounds good. So we do lose probably 15, maybe 20% of the beans, 10 to 20% of the beans. I have no idea. But as you can see, there's a lot of hulls here. Good compostable material, or it can just be left to blow in the wind. So you ready to do the second year, next year's worth?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and jar these up, and then I'll go out back and take them off the screen and put them in the garbage cans.
Sounds good. So that's our process. Hopefully this helps someone out with it. If you have any comments or different ways that you do it, by all means, leave comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and take good care of yourselves.
Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.